Here we go. Welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe button, tell a friend. Here we have another crazy story. I remember a few years ago, it was about 3 years ago, I decided to take a trip with my family to Jamaica. It was a great trip. It was only for about 4 days. No, about 5 days. That was it. Only 5 days. A quick trip. But I remember flying down in a plane. I was flying down in a plane. And I remember seeing two young ladies. They were both of African American descent. And both of them, they both had two little boys on them. One must have been about 2 years old. The other one must have been about 3.5. But I'll never forget it. You know, I remember looking at them, you know, a nice little adorable little, you know, young little babies. But I remember how they were dressed. I remember one of them, for example, the one that's about 3.5 years old, he had on two different type of sneakers. They were both brand new, but they were like two different sneakers. So I guess he's wearing two different sneakers at the same time. Or maybe that's how, you know, they came. I don't know. But I just didn't see it like that before for a young baby. You know, I know you could wear two different sneakers at the same time. And then the other one, I believe he had on some name brand shoes for his young age. I don't want to say name brand. But I remember thinking in my mind, here you have two young ladies. They are both in their 20s, if I were to take a guess. I would say one was probably 29 and the other one was probably 27. Or maybe one was 29 and the other one was 31. You know, because sometimes, you know, yeah, say 28 and 30. 28 and 30, yeah. Or they could have, I don't know the age, if I was to take a guess, they could have been younger, they could have been, I don't think they were much older. But I remember saying to myself, wow, I'm quite certain that these young ladies right here are going down to Jamaica just to bring the kids down to Jamaica to go visit their fathers. Think about that. That's what I was thinking. I don't know if I was right or if I was wrong. You know, because I never, you know, got into a conversation with them. And then, you know, once we got off the plane, I got to the luggage section now. We're walking through, about to go out, you know. I saw another young lady. She must have been about 26 years old. With another baby about maybe 1.5. Same thing. So I'm like, wow, okay. 3 young ladies of that seem like African American descent. Down in Jamaica by themselves with a baby alone, no one else. So I said it. I just kept thinking that. But unfortunately, that's the reality of life. There's a lot of individuals, you know, males and females alike, who do go to Jamaica and other countries also, because their significant other or the father, or maybe the mother, sometimes the father, have been deported back to their home country. Think about that. It's actually happening more and more now, more than ever. You know, they said the war on drugs started in the 80s. Think about that, in the 80s. And ever since then, a lot of individuals have been getting deported back to their countries for doing illegal things.
Inside this West London immigration centre, up to 50 people are spending their final hours in the UK. This after years, and in some cases, decades, in a country they have called home. They'll be leaving on the first deportation charter flight to the Caribbean since the Windrush scandal first broke. Among its passengers, father of 3, Owen Hazley, who was granted leave to remain in the UK at the age of 4. But in 2015, the DJ and musician was convicted of a domestic assault and spent a year in prison.
Wow, it's scary. It's scary, terrifying.
Today, from inside the detention centre, he told me of his fears at being deported to an island he hasn't set foot on for 4 decades.
Just basically.
It's a sad reality of life, but it's the reality of life for a lot of individuals, unfortunately. A lot of individuals face this problem every single day where, they have children in another country, and they're no longer allowed in that country. So how does something like that works? How does something like that impact the kids? And how does something like that even occur? Meaning, what do these individuals do to get in the position that they're in? Because I'm sure you can't just get in a position without doing something. Most of the time they say there's an action and there's a reaction. So what actions did these individuals take to get them in the situation that they're in right now?
And murder, firearms offences, drug trafficking, and we are required under the law, quite correctly, to deport anyone that has such a serious conviction.
Unbelievable.
So all I'm asking is just to stay with my family. That's all I want. Is just to stay with my family. I don't want them to separate us.
I remember Jamaica when I left. I was 4 years old because I've integrated into the UK, integrated into England.
Today,
Unbelievable.
Of marrying a Canadian citizen and giving birth to her son Justin. But she admits she overstayed the 6-month visa that initially let her in the country.
The only thing I did wrong was I overstayed my time. That was all I did wrong. I complied with everything that they asked me to.
The deportation process.
So I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said that it's not fair for Jamaicans, to come, to America and have babies with all these girls and get deported and don't pay any child support. Think about it. That's what he said. We had a long conversation about it, but that's what he said. I never heard that before. Or I never thought about it before either. But I've never been in his situation. So imagine that. Should deportees have to pay child support? That's what he said. I said, really? I said, they child support? He said, yeah, they're having their kids and leaving their kids here. The kids got to be taken care of, right? I said, yeah, you're right. But I just never thought about that. He said, yeah, they come here and they commit their crimes. They do all these stuff. They make all this money. They drive these fancy cars. They do all these, they act like they're the toughest guys around. That's what he's telling me. And then they get deported. They go back to their country. And then they don't want to take care of their kids. I said, oh, man. I never thought about that. That's what happened to him. I guess some Jamaican man messed around with one of his baby. Imagine, keep in mind what I said. One of his baby's mothers. One of them. He has more than one. Think about that. And I guess they had a baby together. He got deported. And he's saying he's not paying any child support. He should be paying child support. And I said, wow, unbelievable. I never thought about that.
are now being re-punished.
We make 1 or 2 mistakes and everything, and we're getting double punishment. We're getting torn away from our family, torn away from our children, torn away from our, lives, and sent somewhere that we've never been back to.
It's believed the plane.
Welcome to Jamaica. You're back in Jamaica now. Things are a little different, as you can see. Guns are everywhere. Not just criminals, but the police, too. So I said, you know what? I said, you're probably right, but I mean, Jamaica's a different type of country. I mean, I don't think they're gonna be able to live the fancy life they once lived and be able to, you know, make money and send and take care of their kids at the same time. He said, what? He said, what you mean? I said, yeah. Then I had to tell him or show him how Jamaica was. It's a little different. It's a little different.
The flight has gone ahead, and it's absolutely right that it does so, because again, the government's #1 responsibility is to protect the public, and on that flight there's not a single British citizen. They are all foreign national offenders. Not one of them, by the way, is a member of the Windrush generation. These are all foreign national offenders that are guilty of crimes that have led to sentences of at least 12 months or more, and this includes crimes such as manslaughter, rape, dealing in Class A drugs. It is absolutely right that if you are a foreign national offender, once you have served your sentence in the UK, that we deport you.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be right. I could be right. But Jamaica is one of those places that a lot of individuals heard of. But I'm not making this video to talk about deported Jamaican individuals just to make my other Haitian deported feels bad, or my other Trinidadian deportees feel bad, or my other Bayesian deportees feel bad. English, Polish, Mexican deportees feel bad. This is just a deported Jamaican video. There are deportees all over the world. Deportees are everywhere. This just focusing on what me and my friends. Crime and dead people everywhere. They really are. They really are. When I did take a trip to Jamaica, I told you. I saw 3 young ladies, 2 on the plane, and the next one walking once we was leaving out. They were by themselves, and to believe it or not, they were all attractive young women. Every single last one of them. Think about that. I think attractive was maybe an understatement, if you know what I mean. They were beautiful women. In every way, shape, and form. But we're not going to get into all that right there. We're just focusing on the facts. We're focusing on the facts. Let's not get carried away. So, I was assuming that they bring the babies, for some strange reason, it was 3 boys, no girls. So their fathers in Jamaica and their mothers in America, and they're bringing the child down there to see the baby, which is a baby. So meaning, do the calculations, maybe that father never seen that child before. Think about that. That could have been the first trip they were taking. First trip they took for that father to actually see that child. I never thought about it till right now. I was thinking that, you know what, I'm deported now, but no. Most likely that father was in jail behind the bars for a few years. If he was lucky, he got a few months. Maybe he was able to see the child. But I never thought about that. But yeah, individuals get deported all the time. And it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing for a family. But it could have been worse. Think about that. Imagine if you didn't have the luxury of a smartphone having FaceTime. You had to fly so far away just to see your father, to see your mother. But I guess, maybe Father God was getting tired of cruelty. I'm a very religious person, unfortunately. Let's not get into that. Individuals could FaceTime each other these days. But imagine back in the 90s. Early 2000s. But let's get current. But the conversation kept on going on, kept on going on, kept on going on, kept on going on. And I said to him, how about an individual who's here in America, who's doing 35 years, 45 years, or life behind the bars in the feds? He paused and he froze. No more criticism. Unbelievable, unbelievable. Had to explain to him that the same thing as having a deported father. You can't see him be like that. I mean, if you know what I mean. Saying locked up in, you're doing the same thing a Jamaican person did to go back to your country, and you end up behind the bars for 35 years. You can't see your kids the same way you take care of them. Should you have to pay child support from behind the bars? Think about it. Think about that. He said, no, you shouldn't have to pay child support from behind the bars. I said, why not? You don't want to take care of your kids? Unbelievable. Sometimes when the tables are turned and individuals have to account for their own actions, it just is what it is. It is what it is. You could be deported. You could be behind the bars for life. I mean, which one's better? Which one's better? Which one's worse? Would you rather be deported or be behind the bars for life? You can FaceTime your children. They can visit you in the summertime. Spend this whole summer. Could your kids spend the time with you for the whole summer behind the bars? What you want them to? I'm just talking. That's it. F-Service TV. Tell a friend, tell a friend. I see them do it. Entertainment purposes. That's it.